This is going to be a bit technical, but if you love studying the Word of God, I think you'll love this treasure. There are a couple strange details in the book of Lamentations, but let's notice something basic. Chapter 1 is 22 verses, as do chapters 2, 4, and 5. In the middle, we have chapter 3 with 66 verses. Now, sure, verse numbers were added later on, but there's a poetic structure embedded in these chapters in which the verse numbers are based. Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 are acrostics. Each section moves through the Hebrew alphabet. Chapter 1 follows the alphabet in order, grief laid out letter by letter as if the poet is trying to hold himself together through form. But chapters 2, 3, and 4 contain a haunting disruption. The letter Pe, which represents the mouth in Hebrew, comes before Ayin, which represents the eye. Now, that's backwards. The eye is supposed to come before the mouth. You're supposed to see before you speak, but here, the poet speaks before he understands, and this says a lot. Pain cries out before clarity arrives. Grief puts words out into the world before the heart can make sense of what it sees. I think it's as if the poem in Lamentations is saying, in sorrow, we don't start with understanding, we start with a cry. Chapter 3, though, slows the acrostic down. 3 lines per letter. Grief thickens, it lingers, it breathes heavy, but right there, buried at the center of the ache, hope cracks through. He says, but this I call to mind, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Hope doesn't erase grief. It sits inside of it. But stop, did you notice I skipped something? Chapter 5, still 22 verses, but the acrostic is gone. The alphabet is still there, but the shape completely collapses. It's all mixed up. The order breaks, the prayer stammers, the language frays. Because this is what real grief looks like. We want grief to follow a schedule, a clean arc, a tidy progression. But grief ambushes us in parking lots and grocery aisles. It loops, returns, starts over. It refuses to move on just because the calendar says it should. We think grief should come in steps. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, completed. Try telling that to a parent who buries their child, or a widow staring at an empty side of the bed, or a spouse in a broken marriage who relives the memories that they once shared. We want grief to make sense, to teach us something to justify the pain, but the reality is sometimes it's just messy. It hurts. The book of Lamentations reminds us God meets us in the mess, in the heartache. This literary structure is screaming a message. You might not be able to pray A through Z to be able to string together coherent thoughts. You may only have a few broken letters to offer to God, but the God who holds the alphabet together before you even said a word can meet you right where structure collapses. Though you speak before you see, God understands before you can form the words. He's the God who receives the cry first and brings the vision and understanding later. Trust his love.